Hello everyone, Earl Henderson, Primordial Defense. Thank you for watching. I have another Monday quarterback video for you. I'm going to play the entirety of this video and then I'll go back and talk about things that are going on to better explain what's going on and talk about things that I think that were done right and or done wrong. Without further ado, here we go.
Hello, I'm Captain Stacy Spell, Commanding Officer of Media Relations Division of the Los Angeles Police Department. This critical incident community briefing is intended to provide you with information about a law enforcement-related injury, also known as a LAPD, that occurred in Southeast Division in the city of Los Angeles on October 12, 2021 at around 2:58 p.m. A LAPD is a use of force incident where an individual requires hospitalization. You're about to see relevant video footage and learn about other evidence and police procedures related to the case, so you can have a better understanding of what occurred based on what we know right now. The LAPD conducts very thorough use of force investigations, which typically require investigators to interview multiple witnesses, view numerous hours of video footage, and analyze a significant amount of forensic evidence. We're still at the very early stages of this investigation, which can often take up to a year to complete, and our understanding of the incident may change as this additional evidence is collected, analyzed, and reviewed. We also do not draw any conclusions about whether the officers acted consistent with our policies and the law until all the facts are known and the investigation is complete. A word of caution: the images and information you're about to see may be disturbing. When a police officer uses force to arrest a suspect or defend against an attack, it can be graphic and difficult to watch. In addition, there may be strong language used by those shown in the video. Viewer discretion is advised, especially for young children and sensitive viewers. Southeast Patrol officers responded to a radio call of a naked man armed with a sword in the area of West 145th Street and Menlo Avenue. When officers arrived to the area of the call, they met with a community member who directed them to the location of the subject. Here's the call and corresponding radio broadcast for this incident.
LAPD 911, operator 694. Hello, 694 CHP. Hey, sir. Hey, info for you guys, West 145th Street with a cross of South Menlo Avenue. Okay. I just had a caller who was getting a picture from his relatives who live in that area for a male black adult in shorts walking around with a sword and yelling at nothing.
With a sword?
Yeah. Male is believed to be walking eastbound on 145th past Menlo towards what looks to be, I guess that would be Orchard.
Okay, I'll have an officer sent out.
Have a great day, sir. Be safe.
Thank you. Bring Southeast Unit 415 out with a knife, 145th in Menlo. Second-hand information from CHP left seen eastbound 145th. Suspect male, black, no shirt, shorts, walking with a sword. Code 2 incident 2868, already 1871.
The officers attempted to establish communications with the subject for several minutes in an effort to de-escalate the situation and gain voluntary compliance. They repeatedly asked the subject to drop the sword. However, the subject refused to comply with the officers. As officers continued to verbalize with the subject, he advanced toward the officer's police vehicle while still holding the sword and struck the hood of the police vehicle. Both officers exited their vehicle, deployed their tasers, and struck the subject, causing him to drop the sword. The subject was taken into custody without further incident. A taser is an electronic control device that is carried by nearly all patrol officers. It fires two metal probes that are designed to cause neuromuscular incapacitation. Body-worn video cameras are used by most officers assigned to field duties. They are worn at chest level and capture a general perspective within line of sight from that angle. The angle of the camera prohibits viewers from seeing everything the officers saw and experienced. Upon activation, both audio and video will turn on. However, body-worn video cameras have a buffer of video without audio from the previous 2 minutes prior to activation. This feature is designed to capture incidents that occur suddenly, where an officer doesn't immediately activate the camera. Here's body-worn video from the officers involved in this incident.
Elmer,
drop the knife. Drop the sword.
Drop the sword.
Put the sword on the ground. Listen, Elmer, you're not in trouble.
You're not in danger, Elmer.
Elmer, you're not in danger. We're here to help you.
Drop the sword.
Elmer, put the sword down. We're here to help you. We're not going to hurt you.
You on?
Yes.
Roger. Southeast Supervisor responding identified.
Elmer, put the sword on the ground.
Detail 20.
There you go. Put it on the ground, sir. Come over here. Talk to me. You're not in trouble. You are the king. You're a king. Come over here. Talk to me. Elmer, you are a king. All right, come over here. Let's talk. You're not in trouble. Step over here. Come over here. Come here to us.
Any air unit coming on southeast frequency for
Elmer, you're not in trouble, Elmer. We're not gonna hurt you. Yeah, put your hands up, King. King Elmer. Come over here, talk to us. Elmer, we're not gonna hurt you, Elmer. King Elmer, come over here, King Elmer.
Drop the sword, King Elmer!
Hey, drop the sword, man. Hey, back up. That thing's not sharp.
It's not sharp.
Elmer, drop the sword. Shit,
man. 145 and Menlo.
Elmer, drop it.
We're gonna have to.
I know, I got the taser.
You got the taser?
Yeah, but it's a short range.
Hey, watch out, man. Rolling on TC. Chill.
Well, close the door, I can't see right.
Let me switch to the one.
Yeah, get the boom boom too.
This guy, dude. He probably has a mental illness.
Yeah.
Check 5, close today.
Take next one, Roger.
Hey, watch out.
Hey, drop it. Drop it, sir. Drop it.
Good job, guys. You guys all right?
Yeah, we're good.
All right. I got it.
Can you take this one off?
Yeah.
He is.
He's bleeding.
Hey, drop it. Drop it, sir. Drop it.
Good job, guys.
Yeah, we're good.
All right. I'll put it out, dude. I got it.
Can you take this one off?
Yeah.
He is.
He's bleeding.
Los Angeles Fire Department paramedics transported the subject to a local hospital where he was treated and admitted for multiple non-life-threatening taser puncture wounds to his groin area, as well as a head laceration that he sustained during the subsequent fall resulting from the taser deployment. Force Investigation Division was notified and assumed investigative responsibility. Investigators recovered the subject's sword at the scene and booked it as evidence. The subject was placed on a 72-hour mental evaluation hold and released from the hospital following the evaluation period. The subject was not arrested. In the next several months, the LAPD will continue to investigate and analyze this incident. We will continue interviewing any new witnesses that may come forward and complete any forensic tests. After the investigation is complete, our Critical Incident Review Division will forward their findings to the Chief of Police, who will make his recommendation to the Civilian Board of Police Commissioners. The board will evaluate the evidence to determine whether the officer's tactics and use of force in this instance met the high standards expected of all LAPD officers. If you would like more information on how the LAPD investigates all serious uses of force, visit lapdonline.org, where you can find the LAPD's use of force policy and procedures, Thank you for taking the time to view this critical incident community briefing.
All right, let's get into it.
We're here to help you. We're not going to hurt you.
So, crazy person walking around with a big old sword. The police, in this instance, I think they do a pretty good job of de-escalation, even to the point of calling this guy a king.
You're not in trouble, Elmer. We're not going to hurt you. Yeah, put your hands up, King. King Elmer. Come over here. Talk to us. Elmer, we're not going to hurt you, Elmer.
64th and Kinnison.
King Elmer, come over here.
So they they go on for a little bit, and I mean, you got to give them praise for trying to do the de-escalation and get some kind of peaceful resolve out of this. But just like many instances, the de-escalation doesn't work. It sounds great on paper, it really does, and in some cases it can work. But the only way, in my opinion, that of those cases where you do get successful de-escalation, there's always that implied threat of physical force to back it up if things don't work. And I do believe that there are some people who just don't have a full grasp on the concept that de-escalation is more than just words. De-escalation can also involve physical force. But they try as much verbal judo as they can to get this to be resolved. They talk about the use of
What is
less
the short
lethals.
range?
We're gonna have to. Shit,
Thursday
man.
145 and Menlo.
Elmer, drop it.
We're gonna have to. Wait, this,
I know, I got the taser.
you got the taser?
Yeah, but it's the short range.
So what he's talking about, short range versus long range, he's equipped with the Taser 7, and the cartridges that come with it, one's more of a short range cartridge, and the other one is longer range. So the short range one should be anywhere between 0 to about 15, 20 something feet. And then the longer range one is for anything from 20 feet to about 30 something up to 40 feet or something like that. And with your legacy tasers, your X26, the long range cartridge was kind of a more of a rarity. It had these special bumps on it on the outside of the cartridge to let you know which part of the cartridge was the top part. Because the regular cartridge, it didn't matter how you stuck it into the gun. There was no up or down. It's the way the body of the gun itself was designed that accepted the cartridge. It would always put that top cartridge out at a flat level, and then that bottom cartridge would come out at a trajectory. And so it didn't matter how you put a regular cartridge in, but that special cartridge had to be put in a certain way because it was actually designed in a way to have the darts come out at a different angle. And if you had it upside down, it would just be way off. These other cartridges for the X7, they're obviously a lot different than your standard, what I would call your legacy cartridges. They are designed so that they do come out at a different trajectory. And when they're inserted into the gun can recognize the fact that it is a longer range cartridge in there. And this is what he's talking about, having a short range versus a long range cartridge. And you actually see him switch it out.
Hey, watch out, man. Rolling on TC. Chill.
Close the door, I can't see right.
Let me switch to the long one.
Good town, 30 Roger.
Yeah, get the boom too.
So he took one out.
This guy, dude. He probably has a mental illness.
Yeah.
X5 is close today.
361 Roger.
Hey, watch out. Hey!
So now he's got the longer range one in there.
Drop it, sir. Drop it.
What was great is they had the ability to be able to plan this out, to switch out with a more optimal cartridge in there. A lot of times, there is no time involved. And so they had kind of a luxury in this scenario. They still had the ability to be in the car. They're kind of in a residential area. There's not a whole lot of traffic, if any traffic at all, coming through there. They're able to put the car in reverse and keep themselves protected from him. They're basically in a cage of sorts. And they're able to back away from him, and he's, walking towards them slowly. He's not appearing to be rushing at them and being on top of them. So they're just backing away from them at a leisurely pace, going backwards. They're able to talk. There's nothing, pressing right then and there for them to have to do something. So they had that time to talk about getting the taser out and switching the cartridge on it, etc. If they had been, for example, look at this sidewalk right here in front of us. Had they been out on foot, and this guy, if they would have been standing right here where my cursor's at, and the guy was over here in this little driveway, and then just started coming at them, they would have had time to talk about switching cartridges out or anything like that. They may have been forced to immediately draw a gun and use deadly physical force. So I think it's important to note the fact that they had time and luxury in this. In a lot of cases where a person has an edged weapon, the police are out on foot, they're within close proximity, and the person with a knife comes at them very quickly. And there is no barrier between them and the person with a knife. It's just thin air. And they may not have their less lethal options out. They may have to instinctively go to deadly physical force. And I think it's important to note that because I would have a feeling that if, the crowd that doesn't like it when police have to shoot people, they see this video, they're probably, cling to this video like, hey, this is the way it's supposed to be done. No one died. See, they can use their tasers. All these other cops are trigger happy, want to kill people, blah, blah, blah. Well, what those people don't realize and don't understand is tactics. And even in this scenario, there is some stuff that I think was done wrong. They both have tasers out. That's wrong. One of them should have had lethal cover in the event of a taser failure. For example, this officer right here, whose camera view we're seeing, he has stepped out of the vehicle, and he is within range of this guy. This guy could very easily come towards him and start swinging this big old battle sword at him and strike him. There is no barrier between him and the guy anymore. He left the safety of his vehicle, so to speak. The other officer does step out too, and he kind of has a door between him and the bad guy. But they both have tasers out. And let's say the officer that we're looking at right here fires his taser and doesn't get a good deployment. Let's say one probe hits the top torso area and the bottom one completely misses. And let's say the second officer, he fires and he misses completely, or same issue, one probe hits, one doesn't, whatever. Well, if all they have out are the tasers that they have fired and are ineffective, well, this guy could very easily close the distance and swing this big hunk of metal at this officer and seriously physically injure him or kill him. Anytime less lethals need to be utilized, there has to be lethal cover in the event that less lethal fails. And there are a shit ton of videos where you can watch taser failures. Whatever multitude of reasons why there was a failure, there are a shit ton of videos where a taser fails and a person does not get neuromuscular incapacitation and they continue to fight. This very well could have ended in an officer being seriously injured or killed because they both came out with tasers. One of them should have come out with a lethal weapon. Tasers deployed, and we get great NMI.
Drop it, sir. Drop it.
He is so stiff as a board after getting hit with taser that he hits and then bounces up completely. Like, there is this is a pretty good freeze frame right here. Yeah, like, that's good NMI, good neuromuscular incapacitation.
Drop it, sir. Drop it.
Good job, guys. Good job, guys. You guys all right?
Yeah, we're good.
All right. I got it.
Can you take this one off?
Yeah.
He is.
He's bleeding.
So they were lucky, in my opinion, that they were able to get taser deployment on this guy and he'd lock up and go down to the ground. Unfortunately, it does not always end up like this. This is one of those rarities where the odds were in the officer's favor, where they had time and distance to be able to talk about things and do it in a leisurely manner. So many other cases where the person has a knife and there's close proximity between them and the officer. There's no barrier between them. They rush them. There is no time and luxury for them to be able to discuss options. They have to, within 0.5 seconds, make a decision and then go with that decision. And that's why we see so many officer-involved shootings when it comes to people with knives or something like that.
Hey, drop it. Drop it, sir. Drop it.
I got taser out again. Good job, guys.
Yep.
You guys all right?
Yeah, we're good.
All right. I'll put it out, dude. I got it.
Can you take this one off?
Los Angeles Fire Department paramedics transported the subject to a local hospital where he was treated and admitted for multiple non-life-threatening taser puncture wounds to his groin area, as well as a head laceration that he sustained during the subsequent fall resulting from the Taser deployment. Force Investigation Division was notified and assumed investigative responsibility. Investigators recovered the subject's sword at the scene and booked it as evidence. The subject was placed on a 72-hour mental evaluation hold and released from the hospital following the evaluation period. The subject was not arrested.
That blows my mind. This dude did all that shit and was released and never arrested. Like, hello, that's why there's so many problems. Yeah, the dude's he's obviously got mental issues, right? Like, he's walking around in his underwear with a big ass battle sword, calling himself a king. Something's wrong. Normal people don't do that shit. However, at that same time, he is a danger to himself and others, obviously. Why are they letting him roam the streets freely? It's just a matter of time before this guy does something like this again and someone get hurt.
In the next several months, the LAPD will continue to investigate and analyze this incident.
I talked about pulling the taser growth hitting in the groin, and it does. Which we don't see it that close up, but you can actually see that bottom probe.
Drop it!
Oh, nah, let's see that one more time.
Drop it! Drop it, sir! Drop it!
Right in the dick. Yeah, sure enough, right there in the groin. Yeah, and these Taser 7's got a pretty nasty bite to them too. Alright, so that's it for this video. If you like what you hear and see, go ahead and give me a like and a share. If you have not already, hit that subscribe button and stay tuned for more Monday quarterback videos. Earl Henderson, Primordial Defense, thank you for watching.